Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today's session. Today, we have something completely different for you, and it's all about the learner experience in TalentLMS. So join us for a webinar where we will go through a seamless learner experience, and then we will help you set it up for your own users as well. So let's get started. My name is Theo. I am part of the customer education team, and together we will be hosting the session. But also, I will be a learner for you today. And I will be the learner who will be a new hire in the marketing department of a team. And then I will go through all of the steps as a learner in order to start taking training in Talent LMS. I'm not alone though. I have great company with me today.
Hi there, I'm Mary, I'm the Customer Education Manager, and I'm usually here to help you deliver successful training, and I'm going to do this again today. This time, I'm going to explain as an admin what steps you need to take in order to design an awesome learner experience.
And you will hear from Mary a little bit later, but now let's see what we have in store for you today because we have a lot. First, we will see how learners navigate in Talent LMS, and then we will see how they can engage with other learners. It's not only about training, it's also about engagement. And finally, we will see how you can create a seamless learner experience with all of the tips and tricks that you need behind the scenes. And don't forget, our webinars come with a live Q&A at the end. So let us know what your questions are, and we will do our best to answer them, of course, at the end, live, and get as many as possible of them. If you want to ask a question, have a look at the meeting dashboard. And there you can see the Q&A button. Click on it, type your question, and send it to us. You can definitely do it anonymously as well, but we would really love to know your name so we can directly get back to you live. And this is a session that is already recorded. So you will receive the recording once the webinar is over, and you are definitely welcome to share it with anybody that you would like to share how to set up an amazing learning experience in Talent LMS. So before we jump into the portal, before we start pressing buttons, who is a learner? A learner is a person that has been invited in your Talent LMS account to get training. And in order to join your platform and start the training, they only need two things, a username and a password. And once they get in your platform, they can do a lot. So a learner in Talent LMS can see the courses that have been assigned to them. They can choose more courses from the course catalog. They can join groups. And yes, they can get more training this way. They can see the live training sessions in the calendar. And we are big believers in blended learning, so the calendar is always there. And of course, they can participate in discussions. That's how we engage with others. Also, learners can track their progress using reports, and they can send and receive messages to administrators, instructors, or fellow learners as well. And of course, they can take training on the go using the Tandalms Mobile App. One thing, though, that we have to clarify before jumping into the portal, and that has to do with the user permissions. By default, what you just saw in our list of what a learner can do in Talent LMS is everything they can do with the full learner permissions enabled. But again, it's up to the admins at the end of the day. The admins are the one who will decide what permissions learners should have, what they can click on, what they can access. So today we will see how things look in a dashboard with full permissions, but definitely admins might need to cut down a little bit on that, and then learners can only access certain parts of the account. Definitely, we will talk about it a little bit later. And one other thing about this session, this is not just a demo. This is a suggested workflow of how you can see from the learner's perspective, how learners can get started and get training, and from the admin's perspective, how everything can be set up so that way you provide an amazing experience to your own learners. So let's get right into it, and let me share my screen to get started. Right, so I hope you can see my screen here. And what we have right now is the homepage. The homepage is the very first thing that a learner will need to see when you invite them to get to your portal. So you share the URL, you share the link to join, and they jump into this page, which is fully customizable. It can be branded to your own standards and your own aesthetic. It can have banners, text, videos, buttons that people can click and navigate to other resources. And then you can always here highlight a little bit further down what you offer, and maybe just give a glimpse of the courses that learners will find inside just to spark their interest and get them started. But what we need to focus on right now is the two options that people can use to access TalentLMS for the first time. So learners can log in. So if you have already shared credentials with your learners, and that can be a username and a password, they can use it right there and then they can log in. And if not, you can choose learners to sign up alone and they can create their own account. This is what we'll do today. So today, my learner name will be Ron and my last name here will be Francis. My email address right there, and the username, I can add either my email address again, just to be practical, or I can just add a combination of my first and last name as well. Anything you want can be your username pretty much. Passwords, I'm not gonna share this with you or even with anybody. And if we just leave things where they are right now, this is the default options that we need to fill in, the default fields that we need to fill in when we create an account as a learner who needs to sign up. And then further down, we have a little bit more options. We have the location. I can choose from the drop down, yes, I'm actually in Athens. And then I can tick the box if I'm working remotely or not. These are options that you might not see at all times because these are extra fields, custom fields that the administrators can choose to ask you to complete in the sign up form. So maybe your sign up form might have them, might have different ones, or you might just need to fill in the basic fields, the mandatory fields in order to get going. So what do you think? Am I a robot? I don't think I am, but let's create the account here. And before getting you further with training, before even starting, I'm going to put a pause here and I'm going to jump back to Mary in order to show us how did we end up here to begin with.
So yes, let's have our first break and see as an administrator how we can set this up. For this, I'm going to share my screen and start with the very first thing that your learners saw when they used your site. It's actually the homepage. You know, TalentLMS lets you build a well-designed, mobile-friendly homepage. And if you try to do this with me, just go in Account Settings and click on Homepage. If you haven't touched this yet, by default, you will have a simple login page. So you will be invited to create your custom homepage. What you can see we have done here is that we have created different sections using, let me go just all the way down, these options right here in order to customize the homepage. For example, you can add a banner if you want to upload your own image, and perhaps there you can add a button where you can direct people to other websites. You can add text if you want to share more information. This is my favorite. As an administrator, you can also use media like your own video on the left and combine this with some text on the right. If you're selling courses, maybe it would be nice to have on the homepage your bestsellers so people can see what you're selling right here. So you can add your courses as a section and also some key points. You can add up to 10 different sections. And when you're ready, on the left, you will see the option to publish your homepage, and that's live. And without any coding, you have a custom homepage. Next, let's find the appropriate sign-up method. Now, what you saw on the screen as a learner is the direct sign-up option. So it's perfect if you're selling courses or if you want just to invite users to sign up alone. So this will save you time. But if you want to use TalentLMS for internal training, we would recommend to change this to manually from admin. There are many ways to create users. You can add them one by one, of course. You can import them or even use API to do this. So this is perfect if you want to have internal training. So you're sure that you have added the members of the portal. And of course, when we signed up, we asked for some information. The default settings, as Theo mentioned, was just the first name, last name, a unique email address and username. But maybe you want to add some extra options. For example, in the custom fields right here, you will see the custom user fields and create extra fields on the sign up form. So you can add your own fields, give it a name. This is the name that your learners will see. Select how you're going to collect the information. And if you want to make sure that nobody will skip this option, just make it mandatory. So everybody will have to fill in something in there. And it's also a nice workaround in case you have already launched your program, so you already have your users right there, but you just found out about this feature. You can use that, make it mandatory, and even existing users, the next time they will log in, they will be asked to complete the profile before actually using the system. And you can also make it visible on reports, which we believe is the whole point. You will have extra columns on your reports so you can filter better your users, and of course, export this information on your desktop.
And I think it's time to start getting some training and start getting some courses, right? So let's do it again. Share my screen for a quick moment here. And so let's actually pick up from where we left right before. We see at this page an announcement. That is a box where an admin can provide a welcome message, information, maybe anything that we would like to just keep in mind a little bit at the beginning. So here I have a welcome message, and I know very well that if I have any technical question, Julia will be my person to go. So, okay, I can remember that. So let's dismiss. And what we see right now is the dashboard. This is the dashboard of the learner. And that is the most frequently visited page from the learner's perspective, because when you log in, you will see that page. When you want to exit the course, you will see again that page. So this is a page that we need to explore a little bit more. And starting with the courses, sometimes you might be able to see courses waiting for you the moment that you join the account, exactly as I have here. And to be fair, that is what most people do. Most admins and instructors want some courses to be there when the learners will sign in for the first time, so that way they can start training this way. Or sometimes you might not have any course here. So you might see a blank page right there with some text prompting you to go to the course catalog and pick and choose. So this is the case where you have the power to decide with what you want to start training with. And if we were to do that, we can go on the course catalog here, and I can browse the categories. For example, I can check maybe cybersecurity, always relevant, and I can choose what course I would like to start with. Maybe this one, maybe that one. In any case, I can click get the course, and now I have it. So if I go back to my own dashboard again, I can see the courses right there, security and compliance, the course that we just decided to get together. But you saw before that I already have 2 courses waiting. So let's jump right through. And before we even start actually getting the course, one very final detail about how you can see the courses. At the very top right here, we have 2 options. This is a grid view, so you can click on it and then you can see the courses exactly as I do with pictures. And maybe you might want to have the list view, where you don't see the pictures of the courses and you see all of them one by one under the other. I'm more of a visual type though, so I'm gonna stick with the grid today. Now, what course to begin with? We can start with any course, but I see here that in the HR Essentials, there is an expiration date. And naturally, I'm gonna start with this one because I want to make sure that I do it within the deadline. So let's start and see where we land. That is the course information page. And you see here that we can have a description. Maybe you can have a longer description. Maybe it can be short and concise like mine. This is a trailer, a video that the instructor has provided just before starting the course to get a feel of what we're gonna see inside. Again, you might have it, you might not. It's all about the settings. And then in the content option, we have all of the contents that we will actually go through within the course. So you get a feel of what you expect within the course. And files. Files are very important because we can have takeaway information, PDFs or PowerPoints, videos, worksheets, anything. And if the instructor allows us to download the files, I can always click here and I can download the files as well. And finally, the rules of the game, right? All units must be completed, expected, and that course will lead to certification. So I will have a certificate once I complete the course. So let's get started. Let's start the course together and see how that works. The moment you start the course, you will see the very first unit right in front of you. And that is a PowerPoint and its presentation. You can flick through the pages, you can complete and move on to the next part. The next part is one of my favorite ways to get training. It's a video. I love videos because I can really just have a cup of coffee, make some tea, sit back, relax, watch the content. I can pause, I can go back and get a second cup of coffee, and then I can come back, resume, and then of course, when I'm ready, I can always continue to the next part. And what about resources? What about links, blogs, websites that we can always visit for more information? Definitely, you can have a link communicated with you in one of the previous units, you can click on it, and then you can go to another page. But here, you see that they have embedded that website within TalentLMS. And in fact, This is our Tandalms blog as well. Very good resource anyways. So it's much better as a learner to be able to see a website within TalentLMS without having 10 windows open or 10 tabs open, one next to each other. So I can browse it, I can always click on links, I can explore the page, and then of course I can complete and move on. And here we are, my favorite parts. Maybe not as favorite as a video, but that is my second favorite part of the courses. That is blended learning. And that is an instructor-led session that has been arranged in order to get to know the instructor, get to know the rest of the team, and of course, have live sessions. One thing that you will see here is the details. We have the dates, the session name, just a little bit of information here, the time, starting time, and we know that this is 1 hour long. And we also have the name of the instructor who's going to host the session. That's a no-brainer. I'm just going to hit register, and now I have saved my seat. It's very important to hit register as a learner to save your seat. First of all, because you want to make sure that the instructor knows that you're going to be there. And secondly, because you get information as to how you will join the session. And you see here, that is a webinar. That's a remote session. Yes, we all still do them. And you see the join link. Don't worry, you don't need to start clicking on it right now. It's not activated yet. The link will automatically be active just a few minutes before the session starts. So just 2-3 minutes before 10 o'clock, I'm going to come back here, click join, and then I will be able to jump into the classroom. And another thing, you heard me mention in the slides at the very beginning that the learners can see their calendar through TalentLMS and access all the sessions. Yes, they can, and the calendar is always on the dashboard. But here, with every session that you register, you can always go to add it to your calendar, and you can choose which calendar you want to use. That is your email calendar. So if I'm using Google, I can click on it and I can export that particular event into my day-to-day calendar. Of course, you're expected to actually attend the events when you want to complete it. That's the way to complete the events. Learners have to physically be there, or maybe remotely, but be in the meeting and then complete it, and then get feedback from the instructors, and then be able to complete the course. But today, we're not going to hold you hostages here waiting for the meeting to come. So just for the session, in a magic way, I'm going to refresh my page and I have that completed. But remember, as a learner, you really have to go. Now, what's next? Knowledge check. Yes, we do them. We do them a lot, and instructors have lots of different ways to check the knowledge of the learners. So I'm going to start the test and I'm going to start answering the questions. Here we have a fill in the gaps question. And you can use lots of different types of questions, multiple choice, drag and drop, match the pairs, a lot of options. And if the instructors have decided that there should be a specific amount of time maximum to spend here, you will see the countdown of that amount of time there. 10 minutes for 2 questions. I think my instructors are very lenient today, so I'm just going to submit the test in less than a minute. Maybe not the brightest idea I had, right? Because here I failed. But it's okay. That is how a failed test would look like. You can see the correct ones, you can see the incorrect ones, some feedback, if that's shared from your instructor. And then I have the opportunity to try again. I have the option to take the test again. In fact, my instructor believes in 3 chances, not just 2. So I can have 3 more times. So let's do it. And then I can always start again, fill in the questions, and of course, move on further with submitting the answers. Again, everything has to do with the settings, and you will hear more about how to set all of those options later. But the idea is that if you want to complete a test, that is roughly how that would look like. So it's done. Let's move. Let's go. And here we have an assignment. The assignment is an interactive way that you can have your knowledge checked, and the instructor will provide a question. And as a learner, I can answer in lots of different ways. I can write text, I can copy paste, maybe write it elsewhere, just copy paste here. I can upload a file, I can record a video, an audio file, and I can even record my screen. That is amazing because you don't need any video editing knowledge, any video recording knowledge, any software even to have. Just do everything within TalentLMS. And in this case, just copy paste an answer. Send my reply. And now I'm waiting for the instructor to provide some feedback. Here, you might have again 2 options. The option that you see here doesn't allow me to move forward because the instructor needs to provide feedback in order to continue. And usually that's the case with assignments, to be honest, because the instructor does that to be able to evaluate if you are ready yet to move on to the next part, or you still might just have the option to continue anyways, and then you will receive feedback at a very later time. Let me refresh though, because I know that's my instructors are very responsive today. So you can see here that's already, I have a reply, a very generous grades, I'll take that, comments, and then we can complete and go on. And here we are at the last part of the course. How do you know it's the last? If you hover here on the name of the unit that you currently are, you can see the completion percentage so far. So we know that it's close to the end. And then you see all of the units of the course, the ones that you have completed and the ones that are coming. So that's how we know it's last. It's a survey then, a feedback survey. And sometimes instructors might want us to provide feedback. Learners have opinions about how training should be done as well. So you can always reply with multiple choice, Likert style questions, even text that you can provide feedback in comments. And that's it. That's done. We completed the course together, and that is how you get alerted about the certification that you got. If I want to download it, I can do it right here, or I can dismiss the window. I can go back, and if I don't want to spend more time on the course, I can just go back to the home page, and yes, back to the dashboard where everything begins for the learner.
Lots of exciting stuff for the learner. So again, as administrators, let's design this experience together. The very first thing that the learner saw when they entered the platform was the announcement on the top of the screen. So if you also want to add a message right there, just go in Account Settings, scroll a little bit down, and you will find the section announcement and the option to add an internal announcement, which basically means that the learner has to log in first, and then they can see this message. If you want, you can also add an external announcement, so anybody with just your site will be able to see that before the login. Then the learner had on the screen some courses. How the learner, a new learner, had already some courses on the screen? Well, there are many ways to add courses to users. You might want to use API to do this. You might have integrated with your own HR tool, or you might have used already the import option, and with just an Excel file, you added the users and at the same time to some courses. The simplest way, though, is to use groups if you want to. You can create a group, add some courses to that group, and then let's go in Account Settings, and for one more time to the Users tab, and there you can decide which of the groups you have created will be the default group of the site. This means that every new user only, when they're added to the platform, they're also added to this group and get assigned automatically to all of the courses. So there's not going to be an empty dashboard. They will know that there are some courses and they have to start from there right away. And finally, when the learner clicked on a course, the learner was able to see some information, a description, a video. Do you remember that? How many units there are in that course? And if you also want to do this, and we do recommend this, you just need to go in Account Settings for the last time, and from Course Settings, enable this option. So we can enable the summary. The learners will see how many units they have to complete, how the course will be completed, if there are files they can download. So they set some expectations. They will try to allocate the appropriate time for the training, and they know what to expect. Instead of having the learner just starting the course and directly start from the first unit, maybe this is better. And now let's focus as instructor how we can create the units inside the course. So as instructor, let's go to the course that we just showed and let's click edit. And here we are, we're looking at the unit list. There are many different ways to add your courses and also upload your files. The easiest would be just to drag and drop your file. So if you have videos and presentations and Word documents, just drag and drop the file and the system will create the units automatically. Otherwise, you can click on the add button and here you can see a list of all the units that you can create. And let's say we want to create now a video, click on video and then upload your file. With videos, actually, you can also use videos directly from YouTube, or if you have a presentation, TalentLMS can convert this to a video. Another interesting point mentioned before is external websites. You can use the iframe option for that. So if you have found a really nice resource and instead of adding somewhere in the text as a simple link and the learner has to click on that and open a new tab just to find more information, you can embed it in the course by using the iframe unit. Much easier, and the learner will stay here all the time for his training. And that's it with the theoretical part. Now, if we want, we can check the users, what they have learned so far by using tests or assignments. Let's have a look first with tests. When you create a test, you have on the right side of the screen right here, all the types of questions you can use. You just type the question and then the question will be added to the test. You can see here that just 2 questions are added. Now there are 3. And this is how we remove questions from our test. It's important to spend time here though in the test options, because here you can set the duration. If you want, the test can have a time limit, and this is always in minutes, as you can see now. So I'm adding here 10 minutes in order to complete all the questions, and also a passing score. If the learners get 80% of the questions right, they can move to the next unit. The learner failed the first time, but we did enable the option to repeat the test. So you can allow repetitions if you want to, and you can also set the maximum number of attempts. What the learner saw after submitting the test really depends on the settings we have right here, how they complete the test. And here, right here, you can also add a description, which usually is a nice message before starting the test. They can see that, and a different message when they pass or when they fail. So the learner submits the answers and you don't have to do anything because you will later find all the answers in reports. The score will be automatically calculated by the system. Another way to evaluate users though is by using assignments. And it might be better if you want to be more involved and you want to see how the learner responded to your questions, to a scenario that you might have provided, or if you want to check the files they have uploaded before they move on. So when you create an assignment, you add here your questions, what they have to do, and then you have to decide how the assignment will be completed. And there are 2 ways. Either use this option when instructor accepts the answer, which is the one that we used for this webinar. And the learner, when submitting the answer, had just to wait a little bit for the instructor to review the answer. And when the instructor accepted the answer, the learner was able to move on. Maybe you don't have the time to do that. Maybe you're doing other stuff. So you can also just use this option. The learner uploads the answer. The unit will be automatically marked as passed, but without any score or comments, of course. So when you have the time, you can go back, check the answer of the user, and grade them. And so far, I was explaining how to create a course which is self-paced. The learners just, when they're online, they can try to complete the course. But if you want, you can turn any training to blended learning. And it's something we do a lot nowadays. For this one, you need to create an instructor-led training unit. So you just click on the add button and the instructor-led training unit right here. Choose that and you will see your calendar and you can start scheduling your live sessions. And a small parenthesis here, probably you know this already, but from account settings, you will see different options if you want to integrate with your own conference tool. So if you're using Zoom, for example, or Microsoft Teams or GoToMeeting, you can just connect your own conference tool. And every time you schedule a session in TalentLMS, you can see that session automatically created on your conference tool. So we pick the date as instructors now, we give a name, we selected the date, okay, the time, and then we can select what type of session is going to be. Is it going to be in a classroom? So we better add here the meeting location, and or it's going to be a webinar because most of us are still working remotely. So let's say it's a webinar this time again. Now, if you tick this box, the session will be automatically created on the tool that you have integrated with. In my case, I have integrated with Zoom. So every time I do this, the sessions will appear on my Zoom account. You set the duration, you add the session, and that's it. As you saw, the learner, when they reached that unit, they were able to just click on the register button. So this way they can reserve a seat for themselves, or if you want, you can add them to the session yourself. But it's important after the session ends to go back to the users list and mark the users that have really attended probably the session as passed so they can move on. And that's it with the course. Now the learner probably will leave the course, but we don't want them to go with empty hands. So let's go with the files option here to share some files with them. Here you can see all the files you have uploaded in your course. So think of that as a library. of the files that you have used so far. So if you lose something, don't worry, you can download it back to your desktop and use that for sharing files with your learners. Of course, you can upload extra files if you want to, but when you share a file with a learner, that's the moment they can also download it and keep it on their desktop.
And sharing is caring, right? So let's see now how the learner is able to get the files that the instructor has shared. Again, you guessed it right. I'm going to share my screen right here. And as a learner, we pick up where we left from on the dashboard. So if you want to get the files that the instructor might have shared within courses, definitely you can do it from the course description as we saw before, or within the course itself. But also you can go to your name. There's a drop-down menu here with lots of options, and you can go all the way down to my files, click on it, and this is where you can see all of the files that somebody has shared with you, and of course, download them from there. But let's stay a little bit more on the dashboard here, and let's see a couple of very useful features that we can access at any given point as learners. First and foremost, we have the macro statistics box here. I know I'm just going to call it the info box. And as a learner, I can see the courses that I have in progress, we just started. I can see the completed courses and I can click on that. And therefore, I can just filter and see only what I have completed and click again. So I go back. I can see the training time. I can see the badges and the points that I have received as well. So here we have statistics about the training progress so far and the results that we have already from participating in courses when it comes to gamification. And this is the next part that we would like to check together a little bit more. This is gamification then, and this is where you can click on the leaderboard and see the points, the levels, and the badges that you have received. Gamification really makes training fun. I know you can make a very fun course with lots of different types of contents, videos, blended learning, SCORM interactive types of content, but gamification always will add that extra to your training. Because as a learner, I'm going to spend a lot of time here. I'm going to get a lot of courses, spend time in the account. So why not get some points as a reward? Why not upgrade levels? And then you can see that starting from level 2 here, I can go up to level 20 if I spend more time. And badges, I can also get those. And badges are stickers that you can get and you can accumulate based on the courses you participate and how you work with the account altogether. So I just have 6 and I can reach up to 28. So there's a lot of motivation there. Talking about points though, I can see that I am quite late in the game. I just have 485 points and I can reach up to 7,000 pretty much. So how to collect the points, how to get as many as possible. You have the ability to see what will give you the points that you need based again on the settings that the instructors and the admins have provided. So here, if I get courses with certifications, I can get 150 points per certification. So when I go to the course catalog, I'm going to choose the courses that I'm interested in, but in the course description information page, course information page, below the description, below the content, below all of that, I can check in the completion rules if that course will give me a certificate. So I can get more points. Or if I work with discussions, if I add a comment or create a topic in discussions, I can get 25 points. So let's see what discussions can do then, apart from giving us points. On the right side here, if I click on discussions, I will open up a list of topics. Think of it as a forum just for training. And the first topic that I see here is the Learner Lounge. So I can say it's going to be fun. And you see here that the admin has provided a couple of things that we can do. I can share a few things about myself, post questions, get to know the other learners, maybe join the conversation here. And others have already provided a couple of comments. The administrator has already replied, and I'm going to follow through. And I'm going to add my own little comment there. If I want, I can always just attach resources, cat pictures, anything you need, but I'm going to leave it like this right now and then post my comment. And not only I can post comments in the general discussion, but I can always see what others have written. So I can upvote their comments and I can always go reply, write something in the thread, or again, go back and add something as another comment. How can you keep up if you have lots of discussions? Very easily. If you want to receive email notifications about any new comments or any new upvotes or interaction in the discussion topic that you follow, click on subscribe, and then you will receive that in an email as well. Anytime somebody adds a comment, I will know. Or if that's not a topic that you want to keep following because it's not relevant to you anymore, maybe it's from a course that you don't attend anymore, just unsubscribe. And then you will not receive email notifications anymore, but you will have the option to always stay on the dashboard and then visit discussions at any given points, have a break from training, and then keep going as you would normally do.
Well, did you see what happened there? Let me take my face off your screen. The learner has easily accessed the platform, completed the course, so that's a success. But the learner also stayed a little bit more and actually not taking any training this time. So you can feel proud. And you can also turn training into an addictive game. You have control, you have gamification control, and you can easily customize the number of points your learners will earn for specific actions they do in the system. You can also allow them to unlock badges and help them upgrade into a higher level. So if you leave gamification on, you will increase user engagement. And we definitely want this. If you want, you can turn it off, but yeah, it's better to leave it on. Another way now to engage users is by using discussions, and to access that, just reach to your instructor role, and here you will find it on the right side of the screen. If you want, you can initiate the topic, you can create a place that looks like a forum that people feel cozy and they can exchange ideas or ask you something. So give it a name, add your message, and then select who can participate to this discussion. It can be a public discussion, so everybody with an account here can participate and just post comments, or you can make it specific to the users of a course or of a group, so they have something in common and probably they're gonna talk about this.
And it's all about the results at the end of the day. That's how we want to know what we have achieved, how much we have completed, and get motivated from our own results to go further and get more training. And for that, we have a lot of different ways to achieve a good overview of what we've done so far. We briefly talked about the info box before, where you can see the courses in progress, a few quick statistics, but nothing compares with the progress reports. This is where all of your data is visible. So in the overview, a learner can see their own reports. I can see mine here, and I can see, again, yes, the info box, but I can see the progress overview in really well done charts. I can filter my activity as I need to. I can see the badges that I have earned from gamification, and I can see, of course, how I compare to others in the leaderboard of gamification. If I want to keep track of it, always I can come back, but I can always export on Excel as well. And I can keep my Excel files and then use them as needed. Or I can continue here browsing the data, and I can see the courses that I have completed, the score, enrollment dates, how much time. I can do the same for tests, for surveys, for assignments, and of course, the certifications. Here, you can find as a learner all of the certifications that you have received from courses, and then you can click to download it on your device as well. The badges, again, all the badges that you have from gamification, and the timeline is a list of all of the actions that you have done as a learner within TalentLMS. But there's another thing. If you click on infographics here, you will see all the above already visualized. So here in the infographic, you can see all of your stats, again, courses, points, badges, training time, and even you can hover and see what course that is related to. You can see more statistics in ready-made graphs and charts and pies and all of those options that you would find in your reports. And maybe you might need to create your own stats. You don't really have to do it. Just go to infographic, export your infographic. That will be an image. And then just go to your meeting, present your results. And of course, you can definitely share this in your reviews as well. And very final thing. What we promised you at the beginning is that you would see a dashboard with the full learner permissions, but we would explore a few of them because we want to be realistic. And the truth is that the admins control the permissions of the learner. So I'm going to pass the mic one more time to Mary to show us how she can control as an admin all of the learners' permissions and what they can do.
I love being the admin. So, you know, TalentLMS is designed around three main roles: the administrator who sets up everything, the instructor who will be the one creating the courses, and the learner that will actually take the training. So from the user types right here, if you want to adjust the permissions of the learner type, you can just go right here, click on the learner type, and start perhaps removing features from their screen. So for example, they won't be able to get courses alone. So if you have decided that it's better to assign them to the courses yourself and they shouldn't have access to the course catalog, don't worry, you can disable that. Or maybe you don't want them to be able to talk to each other with discussions. So we can also remove that, or be able to edit their own profile. Anything you want, just expand to view the full settings right here, update the learner type, and you're sure the learner will not be able to view this permission. And actually, how you're sure about this? Let me show you a small trick. I'm not sure if you have seen this before. So let's go to the users tab. And right here, I'm gonna find, let's reorder a little bit, Ron, who was the newest member here in the system, how we can check things around. For example, Ron is a learner and we just remove some permissions from our learner. We can log in as Ron and really check if those permissions are missing now from the screen. Log in into the account, just click on this button. We're personating now Ron, and here it is. You saw before when Theo was presenting course catalog right here, discussions right here, but I removed all these things. Also, the learner does not have the option to edit their profile anymore. So you can remove things from their screen, and this way they can focus on just the courses they have right there on the screen.
And training doesn't always have to be on a computer. In fact, that would be a lot if you have to take a lot of training and have to stay in the office or even just in front of your laptop all day long. So what you can do is use the TalentLMS Mobile App. This is an application that we have designed exclusively for the learners, so that way they can take training anywhere they need on any device and take it on the go. The Tandalms Mobile App is available for Android and iOS, and you can log in exactly as you do on your computer. You're going to use the same link, the same URL, the same username, and the same password. And there you can see the courses that you have been enrolled in, and you can click on the course and there will be a button that will allow you to download it for offline view, provided of course that the contents is available for offline view. And if you want to get more courses, no problem. Log in into your laptop again, go to the course catalog, pick the courses that you need, and then you can still continue the training on mobile. So there is a lot to talk about. I know that this Q&A button has been flashing, so I'm going to pass the mic again to Mary and answer your questions.
Thank you. I think this is my favorite part, but first of all, let me thank Irini and Nick for answering all the questions already. So let's answer some of them live. So the first question is from Ed. Is the time shown for the webinar the local time for the learner? Very good question, and yes, indeed. We're located in different countries, perhaps, so I will schedule everything in Greek time because I'm here in Greece. And if you are in UK, you can see the time based on your time zone. Of course, the learner must have select different time zone from their profile. So even you, if you go to my info right here, you'll be able to see here your time zone. So if the learner has changed that and they have something different right there, they will be able to see also the webinar on their time zone. So I hope this helps, Ed. A question from Nick. Can we control the number of available licenses if we allow delegates to use sign up? I'm afraid this is not possible, Nick. We either allow users to sign up alone. So from account settings, we decide whether the users can sign up alone, and you have options in order to verify the people. But I'm thinking that you can control when to stop. So let me rephrase that. Users can sign up alone. There's no limit on that, but they won't be able to access the account unless you verify their account. So as an admin, you will get a message for every new sign up, and they won't be able to log in until you accept their sign up. This way you can control how many people can sign up. But we cannot just add a limit and this can work automatically. So I hope this workaround will help. Question, I don't have your name, it's an anonymous question. Just confirming, an assignment cannot show pending unless the instructor option is selected, but they can't move on unless the upload option is used. So let me just go back to the course. For completing the assignment, there are two options, that's correct. And if we want to have the pending status on the screen of the learner, we have to use when the instructor accepts the answer. Normally, the learner will not be able to even move to the next unit. And that's because by default, the courses that you create are designed to be completed in a sequential order, unless you move on the rules and path on the right side of the screen and you decide the courses to be completed in any order, the one that I have now. So what we have achieved so far, the learner will submit the answer. It will be pending because the instructor has to review that. But if you have here in any order selected, this means the learner can just jump to the next unit and try to complete the rest of the course. If you don't want that, just make sure you have this option enabled. So the learner submits the assignment, they pause right there until you review the answer and say, it's okay, you can move on, because they cannot now skip units. I hope this also helps. Another question from Jessica. Does the user get a visible notification when the instructor provides feedback on an assignment? Sorry, I just lost your question. We keep receiving questions, so I'm losing them. They don't get a pop-up message if this is what you mean. They can get a notification. So it's actually an automated email that you can set up. And every time you submit your feedback to an assignment, a message will be triggered and it will be sent to the relevant learner, of course, so they know that the assignment has been graded and they can move on. So let's go to eBay Event Engine and add this notification. The event that you have to use is this one on assignment grading. This is it. And you want to send this to the relevant user, so the related user. Every time you submit your feedback, this message will go out to the learner and they know they move on. Don't forget the first line is the subject, and then you type your body text, and you can use all the smart tags here, so we can automatically populate the data of that user, of the assignment, of that relevant course. So the learners will know by an email that the assignment has been graded. So another question, is there a storage limitation for uploading videos? No, actually, you can upload as many videos as you want. The only limitation is on the size of the video. If you are on the free plan, if I'm not mistaken, right now, the video size is 100 megabytes. But if you are on any paid plan, the size of the video can be up to 600 megabytes. But you can upload hundreds of these kind of videos. There's no limit. So let's see. Another question from Jennifer. Is there a way to deduct from their existing points, or you're planning to reward them once someone reaches certain points? So this is a tricky one because now if we either leave gamification usually on. So what you can do is to go in account settings, gamification, and just disable when you don't want the learners to get points. And of course, edit the number of points they will get. Or you can turn the points off here and just go to the profile of the user and edit their points. Sorry, no, leave this on. Don't show to the learners. This is what I want to show you. Don't show them how many points they get. So the system will keep giving them points. But since you want to recalculate the points, you have the option to edit from their profile in their reports and edit the points of a user. But this would mean a lot of work for you. Are you sure for that? Because you will need to check the reports and then adjust the points of the learner. Maybe it's easier just to review here the rules and when you would like to give points to the learner. And of course, set here the number of points they can get. So let's see. Another question from Talvin. Can you white label the app? Yes. You either use the free option. So you have TalentLMS, you search for TalentLMS, you download it, and you add, you ask the users to add the website username and password, or you contact us in order to create a custom app, but there is a fee. So people can search for your name. We actually build your own app, and the learners search directly with the name of your company. They just need to add the username and password. So if you want more information, you can, of course, send a message to our support team and they can share more details with you. So let's see a lot of questions. Judy, are there limits to how many users can take a course once it's acquired? We can set a limit if you want, Judy. So let me show you that. Let's go to one of the courses and click on a course to find here the information page right here. So if you want, the course can be available on the catalog. So let's not hide it from the catalog so the learners can find it alone and enroll themselves to the course. And you can add a capacity. So for example, if, as you can see on the screen, I have 146 users, but I just want the 21st users to be able to view that course on the catalog and register alone and enroll themselves alone, we can add here a limit. Once we reach that limit, the course will be again automatically hidden from the catalog. So we won't have more users trying to get to that course. Only if you add the user manually to the course, they will be able to see that. So you can add a capacity. Yes, you can do that. So is there a help video or document showing how we can convert a presentation to a video? It's actually pretty easy. Just enter your course. So do I have access here? I'm not an instructor. Let's go as an instructor to the course they have. Click add, use the video unit right here, and use your presentation, upload your presentation, and that's it. Now, if you haven't added there are any effects, like, you know, when we want to switch automatically from one slide to the other, you might add some time between the slides. If you don't have any settings, the TalentLMS will stay on every slide for 7 seconds. So for example, you have 3 slides, it's going to turn this to a 10 to 1 second video. It's going to be a short video. Otherwise, if you have your own effects, TalentLMS will understand your settings. And if you have said that I have to say on the first slide just 2 seconds and on the other one 5 seconds, we will create a 7-second video. I hope this makes sense. It's pretty easy. You just upload your presentation and we convert to a video. Let's see. Is there a way to show the leaderboard without showing the names of other users? Our users want to see where they rank, but they also want privacy. That's a good question. So the whole point, well, from what I see in gamification, from my experience, is that we want users to compete with each other in a healthy way, of course. So if you want, you can disable the leaderboard. So from account settings, click gamification. We want gamification on, so we still want to assign them to points and badges and levels, but let's turn off the leaderboard so they can view from their reports only how many points they have, how many badges, but they won't be able to compare that anymore with other users. But it's not going to be on the top of the screen. That's what I mean. So the learners cannot click on the top of the screen anymore. They can see it only from their reports. Let's see. How do you calculate the average score of a course? This is a question from Andrea. How do you calculate assignments since they're open-ended? Good. I really like your question. Let's go again as instructor to a course. I'm gonna open any course, doesn't matter now. So here it is. In the rules and path, the default setting is that the average score is calculated when all tests and assignments have been graded. So, you know, the score of a test is calculated automatically. It's up to 100. And you should do the same with assignments. You should give a score from 0 to up to 100. If you want, you can change that, of course. Maybe you just want to calculate the average score of all the tests, or you want specific units only. So you start selecting which test or assignment score. Perhaps if you have Scrum files and there are quizzes in there, we can also include them here, or live sessions, because when you grade a live session, you say that the learner has passed. You can also say, you can also add a score. So for all the units that there is a score and the instructor has to give a score, so assignments and IoT units, the instructor is the one that will add the score. You can choose which will be included here, and we will do the math for you. So just to make sure I'm clear for the second part of your question, the instructor is responsible for adding a score to an assignment. It's not automatically. Let's see. How can you have different default groups when they sign up? This is a question from Jasleen. So Jasleen, just to make sure I understand correctly, do you use branches? Do you have different mini portals for your trainings? If so, each branch has the option right here. So let's click on a branch to show you the settings to add a different default group. So if you have users that are using the branch URL to sign up, they can be enrolled to a different default group, and the course is right there. Make sure the courses are available on a branch level though, just add them to the branch. So I'm either understanding your question this way, or you want many different default groups for the main site. You can only select one. So let me just go back to the main site. Okay, here in account settings on the users tab. If you want many different default groups just for the main site, this is not possible. So the idea is to create a mega group. It's going to be the group that contains a lot of courses, and this is going to be the one that you will select right here.
These are great questions, by the way, and thank you so much for your expertise, Mary. But I have one question, if I can ask one myself as well.
Of course.
I think it's one that Jason wants to know as well. So remember before that as an admin, you had the option to check the permission. So you logged in as a learner, my fictional learner, and then you went into the learner profile. So Jason and I, we want to know if you as an admin log in into somebody's profile, like a learner, right? And you complete the course, does that get completed as Ron the learner or as you the admin? What happens there?
Actually, you log in as Ron. So if you try to complete the course this way, it will actually show up on the reports. We don't just enter into their account and we're little ghosts that we can tease things and nothing will show up. You are the actual person. So that's why it's great for troubleshooting. If you have questions from your learners, if you want to check it for yourself, you can actually log in as them. So they won't have to share their username and password with you. You can log in as them and really see what's the issue right there, or try to complete the course for them. Yes, it's going to show up on reports as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much for clarifying that. And by the way, I don't want to be a ghost. So one very, very important detail here, because we really want to thank you for the question you submitted. And of course, Mary for your expertise, Nick, Irene, everybody in the team. But I know that you might have more questions, and our inbox is open for any questions and anything that you would like us to help you with. So let us know what your inquiry is. trainingteam@talentlms.com. We love to hear from you, and we would love to help you find the answers. And we would like some help ourselves from you, because we build these webinars together and we base a lot of what we do on your feedback. And for that, there is a survey form right now on the chat. If you can take just a couple of seconds to provide us with your comments, what you like from the session, what you would like to see from now on, so that way we can build and bring you webinars that you would really want to watch.
And also would like to thank you for joining this session. It was nice seeing you again, and we hope to see you in our upcoming webinar. So I've shared the second link in the chat, so you can copy that easily. And it's our site. You can see there are upcoming webinars, just register and we will meet again. And before you leave, we have a bonus kit for you. You know that this session is recorded, so you will get a copy of that. But since this is the learner experience, you might want to use this video, and instead of cutting the parts where we just talk about learners and give that to your learners, we have created a video talking just about the learner experience. So if you want, you can use that in your courses when you onboard new members. It's up to you. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much for being here, and thanks everybody in the team for hosting this with me. Keep an eye on your inbox for everything that Mary promised, and we hope to see you next time in our upcoming sessions. Take care and have a great rest of the day.